Apparently, the timeline you were in, I had a black.
You're trying to take a sneaker video.
I'm not sneaking no video.
I know you are.
And I noticed the sound hasn't been very good on some of these. I should probably use the mic. Just wanted to point out real quick that I've noticed, I'd say 9:45 at night, I can look over the mountains and still see the sunlight. 9:45, 10 at 10. 5:30 in the morning, I can see it starting to come. I mean, so, we're talking 7 hours, 8 hours of just dark. I don't know. That was one night clear. I don't know. And I'm only sleeping 5, 6, 7 hours max, 7, and I'm never seeing that. When I get 5, I guess that's it.
And when I did that video at the bar with all the interviews, the one with the Monopoly Man as the icon, there was a young lady on there. I was talking about yield signs, and the one guy said they were red, and the girl in the middle said they were yellow, and the girl in the end, she said they were white. What she was saying, what I didn't catch when I was there, and after I rewatched the video, was she was saying they're white with red outlines. And I gotta tell you, I've been looking at them every time I see them. I cringe because, like I explained somewhere, whether in the book or another video, in December of 17, they were pure red triangles with a pure red diamonds with a thin white line. Just for me, I haven't come across one person that agreed, except that, when I was showing people the picture of it online and spoke with people on YouTube, nobody argued with me. Like, they looked it up and stuff, and nobody argued with me. And then in January, I noticed they were red upside down triangles with a thin white line, and now the white line is so thick that it does kind of look like it's white with red trim. And it just, there was a yield sign I was looking at the other day that I passed not a month ago, and it was like a brand new sign, and I just kept laughing, like, I guess they changed it. And as I'm going by it this time, it looks like it's been there for 10 years. It's so worn and old, and it cracks me up. But that young lady kept saying, red and white. She wasn't just saying white as I thought, at least what I caught in the video.
He's gonna videotape you. You're gonna be on his YouTube channel.
Awesome.
Do you want to repeat everything you just said?
All right, so I've watched some YouTube videos about the Mandela effect, okay? And I myself, after watching some of the videos, have said to myself, I recall something not being the same as it is now, right? So, the name of a cereal or a brand name, right? Something like that. And I say to myself, in my youth, it was this, and now it's this. How did that happen? And I thought to myself, I must be going crazy. This can't be. And then after watching some of these videos, seeing how many times this has happened, it has a name.
Yeah.
The Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect.
Once I realized that it had a name, I said, all right, something definitely strange is going on here. Something beyond.
So it all started with Nelson Mandela when he died.
Right. And the whole thing is, they're saying that people recall the event taking place, and then he was released from prison,
and he died again.
How did it? Yeah. So how are there two different Nelson Mandelas? Now, I'm 42 years old. I seem to recall him dying in prison, and then having him.
How many people were in the car when Kennedy
become president?
Right. So. 3, right?
4. That's what I remember.
The 4th?
I remember 4, but there's actually 6.
They say 6 now. If you look at the car, it's all extended and they're.
Now, I kind of have an explanation. It's one of the theories, hypothesis, that your consciousness is experiencing different timelines.
Really?
And it shifted, and we just.
Rolling. So, listen, I got my PayPal account set up. So, if anybody wants to purchase the book through PayPal, you can. Give me your name. I'll mail it to you personally and have it signed. Now, because of the shipping, I'm going to go $15 for the book signed. And I'm going to throw this in as a bookmark. Huh? How do you like that? I got a bunch of bumper stickers I got for the bar. And I decided, hey, let me try this. And it's pretty cool, huh? So I throw this in as a bumper sticker. If you actually want one of these, it's $5. Now I got about 30, so when they go, all that, I was focusing in on physical reality, which was fine. Except that, you know, there's drama that comes along with that. And, you know, I would peel myself away from it. Some things are still going on, but I've decided to focus in on the shifts and what's going on. And to me, that was an experiment, you know, to not quite do it the way I was doing it. I should have stuck with what the orbs said. And I think, you know, beyond that, I'll create, or it'll be easier to create, or it'll be easier to take on the shifts or notice more changes, or maybe, you know, maybe not notice changes. I don't think that's going to happen. But noticing more changes, and not being so, because for a while I noticed every time somebody would say, hey, there was just a shift, and I'm like, wow, you know, I was really in an agitated mood. It's the best word I could describe it. And I can't say bad mood or upset. I was just agitated. And it's happened a couple of times. And now the other day somebody said there's a shift, and I'm like, well, I noticed things seemed weird, seemed different, but you know, there was no agitation. I realized, hey, I've been taking the magnesium. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Found that interesting. Just, you know, things that I'm blurting out. I have no idea. Oh, that's the street I want to go down, right? Hey, Evers. And I'm wondering how many people have come into the bar and not said a word to me. Like, hey, I've seen your videos or whatnot. Like this past weekend, that would have sucked. I was running around the bar like a madman. Wouldn't have had time to talk to anybody anyway. So all I've noticed myself trying to do is to do, you know, and start to live the life I'm teaching or talking about. And I messed up along that way there. First off, if I was going to recreate the situation I was in, you know, I went too far. So that was one thing. If I was going to cleanse, I even went too far with that. I mean, there's a balance in everything. So I'm not going to get it perfect because, you know, the last thing in the world I expected was the stars to jump out at me or orbs to appear over my head. I mean, you know, like Photo Helix said, you weren't looking for it. No, I wasn't, but at the same time, I was pretty excited about some things, and I don't know how I am supposed to disrupt my current paradigm. I was speaking with this girl, and she said, hey, I think I might have a Mandela effect for you. I said, what's that? And she says, she goes, Chuck E. Cheese is real skinny now. He was a little fat mouse, now he's real skinny. Now, I haven't checked that out, but she was kind of flipped out when I told her it was actually Chuck E. Cheese's. Short.
What color's a yield sign?
The yield sign is red.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, every once in a while they get lucky.
A lot of people
Was
say
it
yellow.
We remember it yellow.
I think it was yellow for 1 year in 1971.
No,
or
it was
something.
never yellow. It's yellow in Australia. It's
Is that
never
what it
yellow
is?
here.
Yeah, it depends on what timeline you're
I didn't
on.
really think about it though, because I thought it was yellow with black lettering.
Right, that's what everybody remembers. I talked to a
Bernstein
lady.
Bears, Sex in the City.
Berenstain Bears. I remember that one from the video. Saying to myself, that's not. I see. Here's the thing about Berenstain Bears. Okay, I have a personal memory about this. When I was in kindergarten, my mother actually taught me how to read, and I was ahead of the curve as far as reading was concerned. The book I read was the Berenstain Bears. When I watched the video about that, I said, no. I recall personal events with that book, and the name now is not the name from when I was a kid. Something's different. So as far as the switching timelines, I mean, I don't know about any of that. But something's definitely not. Something's definitely
His
not.
theory is different than mine.
It don't mean I'm right, because there's quite a few out there. Some people think we're in a simulation and it's glitching.
Sure. The first time I saw The Matrix, I was so blown away. I went back the next day and watched it again, and then the following day again.
It's
3 days in a
along
row.
that same
Because
level.
it blew my mind in
Totally on
such a
that level.
degree. I mean, think about it. What, all right, so every memory that you have, every experience that you've ever had, all it is an electric impulse from your brain to one of your senses, your eyes, your ears, your hands, right? All it is an electric signal. So who's to say that what you see as red is what I see as red? We both call it red, but maybe what you're actually seeing is blue. You just call it red. Who knows? Who knows? Right? You call it red, and you've always called it red, but to you, it's actually what I call blue.
Which
Who
means
knows?
it's really only about your experience
It's
from your perspective.
Perspective, exactly.
From your
Everything in life
perspective,
is
everything's
perspective.
about you
Absolutely.
and how you. I mean, it's about others as far as how you treat others, how you interact with others, but it's really about you. From your perspective, it's all about you.
Life is absolutely about your perspective.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Hey, thanks.
Absolutely.
I guess now if I was to do something, it would be to stay focused on the Mandela effect, the shifts and changes. More, not the Mandela effect so much as changes, yeah, and then shifts. And my mood swings. I mean, they should be top key, and I don't understand why I'm not saying, oh man, this is why I'm in a bad mood. This person's agitating me because it's that time. I mean, I don't get that. I know it. I'm thinking about it, but this past month I was not focused on any of that. Right at the end there, right at the full moon, I started jumping on some channels and chatting, and just want to get to the next step. Or find out what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, if we're doing anything right or wrong. But I figure I'm going to stay focused on the Mandela effect. I'm going to do live shows at night. I'm going to do them randomly. I'm not going to set them up. Thing is, I took my little studio apart. I'm going to stay focused on work and shifts. I'm going to stay focused on the supernatural and what's not right about this or what's different about it. I shouldn't say right or wrong. It's just different. And I've noticed I woke more people up. Let me put it another way. I touched more people or shifted or whatever in that month because I was out without the cam. A couple of times I pulled it out, as you saw, but I was experiencing people, and even though I wasn't focused on it online, I was still talking with people outside of the place. I ran into more people who would ask me about my shirt. So, I mean, I'm doing my part. I'm reaching people. See, online, honestly, I feel like it's just us talking to each other. This has been the first thing I said. I don't know how many people are going to follow this. But, it's us talking to each other. So, that's what I'm doing. The interviews, I'm lifting veils, opening up eyes, whatever. And what else did I want to say? All the negativity's leaving on its own without me even having to do anything. Why? Because I accepted what was around me. And it's more than that. I mean, look, I'm using physical words. Who could, you know, it's like I just accepted it. I let it go. You know, and I don't have to do anything. You know, it's not just try or do stuff, do or try it. You don't have to do nothing. You just have to know and sincerely let it go. So, June 27th, 28th. I mean, nasty energy going around. Guess what? Guess what I was feeling? Agitated. People were getting on my nerves. Paranoid. And okay, now damn it, this is happening like every month. It's like every time, and it was the full moon. It was right after 28th. It was the full moon, and then like overnight, boom. Everybody's happy. Everybody's wonderful. The world is so great. I mean, the people around me, and on the 27th, 28th, I was having none of it. Couldn't get out of my head, creating bullcrap situations in my head, stuff that just, you know, and then I'll get up to the bar and I'll go, hey, how you guys doing? Yeah, hey, what's the Mandela effect? Well, it's where you shift your consciousness into a timeline where, you know what, I don't know if that's true, but that's what it seems like to me. That's the way I can break it down. That's the way I understand it. I really don't know what's going on, okay? But because of the experiences I had, this is what I've come up with. And I'm not even sure I've come up with it. I'm sure I've taken stuff from other people's information and research. And it's just what I feel makes sense. I'm doing 40 to 35. Officer. Okay, I'm doing 35 now. There we go. So I've noticed this pattern, and I've been taking the magnesium, and I wasn't as agitated as I was last full moon. I wasn't as paranoid, but I did the same thing. I never thought, oh, we must be going through a shift, or something must be going on now because, you know, I'm feeling agitated. I'm really disliking people. What is it that I have to learn or let go of? And actually, I mean, this time I know what my lesson was. My lesson was acceptance. You know, I just had to accept the way things were for a certain situation. Manager or no, things are going to be the way they are sometimes. I'm not going to be able to change the world on my own. Using all these movie quotes. Can't change the world on your own. It's good. Yeah, but today's the 29th, and it was like overnight. Last night, I could feel like I have a situation. It's a lesson. It's the worst person in your life is your biggest teacher, right? So, and I knew this was going on, but I was being so stubborn, I guess is the word I'm using, or I'm looking for. I was being so stubborn, like, no, because you know what? You did this, and I ain't giving in because you did that. So forget about it. You're done. And I mean, granted, I do have leverage here, but it's beside the point. I was still going places I didn't need to go, creating stuff I didn't need to create in my head, and just paranoia. And then I would lay down and meditate. And just try and release it, and it just, you know, hey, Patty, he's been on some of my videos. He's the one that started with the dude. You just got to accept. And I'm looking at him like, man, don't you guru me? What was all? I mean, I was not taking my own advice, and I said that to him. I said, man, I don't get it. You're telling me this is what I got to do to snap out of the crap I'm in. Yeah, this is what I told everybody in my book. This is what I've told people forever. This is what I keep teaching. And he said, those who do not do teach. Driving through this little town here. Let's see this flag. And a white star from the bottom. I forget how the Betsy Ross, the original Betsy Ross flag. The stripes with those stars look good to me. That's smile. This one here is different.
That'd be the first thing you do, though. If you take out the electrical grid, think about it, right? Refrigeration.
Don't tell everybody how to kill the world.
I'm sure there are smarter people than I thinking about this, but no, honestly, you lose refrigeration in hospitals. What's next? Communication, right? If your battery dies on your cell phone and you can no longer use that to communicate, how do you communicate? Do you have a home line? Do most people have a home line nowadays? Not really, right?
No, but our landline's out too.
So there you go.
Our landline's out. The cell phones are out. The cable's out. No internet. We got nothing.
Yep.
And that's the third time I've heard somebody say that it's actually most of the country.
That's amazing. That actually is frightening. When 9/11 happened, right, and the Twin Towers fell, that was frightening enough. When the Pentagon got hit, hang on a second. New York is one thing. That's restricted airspace. But the Pentagon? That's military airspace. You can't go anywhere near that.
That's baloney.
Once they said that got hit, that's a whole different thing at that point. So, I don't know. It's definitely frightening to think that half the country's out.
I love everybody keeps coming in asking me, do you guys have a password for your internet?
Yeah. We don't even have the internet.
Right.
We're going to go back to cups on the street.
So I originally set out to do a cleanse, and you know, the idea was to recreate the situation I was in when I had the experiences with the stars, the orbs, and so forth. And I realized, well, that's not really what I was doing. You know, I was doing like this all-out cleanse, and I really believe it's, you know, I'm trying to recreate the situation, and then I realized, you know what, even that's the wrong, even that's the wrong thing, because what I need to create beyond that. I have to go further, lift another veils, or lift that veil again, or, you know, even lifting that veil again, you know, what's the next step? So I did. I kept up on the most important things that I felt with the orbs when they communicated with me what to stop, and so that's been done. But as far as stopping everything and being, you know, a totally pure human in one day, you make yourself crazy. You're not going to relax. You're not going to experience anything. So.
Rolling. So, listen, I got my PayPal account set up. So, if anybody wants to purchase the book through PayPal, you can. Give me your name. I'll mail it to you personally and have it signed. Now, because of the shipping, I'm going to go $15 for the book signed. And I'm going to throw this in as a bookmark. Huh? How do you like that? I got a bunch of bumper stickers I got for the bar, and I decided, hey, let me try this. It's pretty cool, huh? So I throw this in as a bumper sticker. If you actually want one of these, it's $5. I got about 30, so when they go, they go. Yeah, I put $100 all out for the bumper stickers on my own. I told the bar, I said, look, you know, if I got more, I got 50 or 60 of those. I just want to make my money back. That'd be fine. I figure I'll be giving most of them away, especially with the bookmarks going out. No, real bookmarks, Scarab. And what else did I want to say?
all the negativity's leaving on its own without me even having to do anything. Why? Because I accepted what was around me. And it's more than that. I mean, look, I'm using physical words. Who could, it's like I just accepted it. I let it go. And I don't have to do anything. It's not just try or do stuff, do or try it. You don't have to do nothing. You just have to know and sincerely let it go.
I'm coming across a handful, not a lot, but enough to recognize it, that there will be people that'll sit there and listen to my spiel on the Mandela effect, and then start to explain how the human mind is weak and how people misremember things all the time, and it's really about your perception, which I totally agree with. But their twist on perception is that perception is wrong, and sometimes people perceive things wrongly, and it's not wrong because it's their perception, and the human mind just can't handle some stuff, and they go on and on about this, and I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can sit there and just say, yeah, the human mind in general. I mean, it's totally generalizing the human mind. He's not saying some people. You're not saying some people. And it just burns me up. If the human mind is that brutal and we're all that stupid, who gives a flying monkey? I just feel like it's an attack on me, because I feel like they're telling me my mind is weak. And anything gets stronger. Yeah, I just, the veils have been lifted, and I'm trying to get more veils to lift. I'm trying to understand what I'm supposed to do with this, and I don't believe anything. I feel that I am to try and wake people up about this. I'll whatever it means to them. I don't even think it matters, because it is about perception and your beliefs, or what you believe. I try not to believe. Like today I was talking to a guy. I had my book sitting there. I was supposed to bring it to somebody. The guy wasn't around, so I just kept it, held on to it. I was having dinner with the book sitting next to me, and he's trying to read it upside down, the cover. I turn it around for him, and he picks it up, start looking at it. It's like, he's like trying to, and the thing is, I just want to eat. I don't want to talk about this. He was the manager of the restaurant. I'm just, when I'm not into sitting there teaching, they come to me. I'm sorry, or as that other guy put it, their consciousness drugged me to them. Oh man. It could be true to a point, because I'll go down to the bar and I'm like, look, if I'm not wearing... There we go. If I'm not wearing a Mandela Effect shirt, I don't want to talk about it. Or I'm just not in the mood to. And more times than not, somebody's like, hey, somebody told me to ask you about the Mandela Effect, or, hey, what's this thing about, I thought this happened, and somebody's telling me it's not the way they didn't, whatever. And I'll start explaining to them, get into them, and then I end up getting into it. Just I'm not looking to initiate it, I guess. If I'm down there with the Mandela Effect shirt on, yeah, I'm ready to go.
It's been about 24 hours, but there's been no communication whatsoever in or out of Leadville. And it was speculated that it was because of the fires, and they shut everything down preemptively. And then a couple of people were saying that it's the communication outages from New York, Chicago, and all the way out. that it was most of the country, if not all of the country. I don't think that's true. I think it's probably just this area. But I don't know. There's no way for me to find out. I mean, no way. No text, no phone, no internet. Talk about being forced off. All I kept thinking is, wow, if the electricity would go off, the silence would be amazing, because I can feel the difference with all that communications thing, everything out. I can just feel it. It's softer. The only ringing I'm hearing is the hum of the electricity, if you can call it that. Something else that's occurred that I've learned, big lesson, and I learned it properly. No, I didn't have to learn it through failure. I did a few times, but it wasn't a big, it was still processed. I can tell you now that if you just let things happen, truth will out. My stubbornness was holding me back. It was my stubbornness. I'm sitting here preaching like there's no tomorrow, and wasn't taking my own advice. I was preaching to myself. And I got to the point where I had nothing to lose. And I just let it go and accepted. I just accepted what was going on around me. Observed. I did, I won't say fail, but there was a point where I interacted. And I shouldn't have. I didn't have to. I interacted, and it brought things back. I was like, oh. And I realized, I said, well, it's because I interacted. Things went back to wrong, negative, very short time. Because when I realized that it was because I interacted, I truly accepted again and let it go. And accepted that I screwed up and shouldn't have interacted. I just accepted all that. And it was done. It was over. Negativity gone. Yeah, there are supposedly a lot of fires around here. I say supposedly because, I haven't seen anything. They talk about it. They're talking about how there's big fires over at Twin Lakes, which isn't far from here, and they're just talking to a guy who lives out there. And he said, yeah, I'm leaving. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen the fires or anything. That's what he's saying. But, it's a big area. So. Other people have said they saw smoke, and it's really hazy around here. So. Tell you, everything is phenomenal. Everything is great. I've learned that it's about your focus. Boy, did I say that. It's not about giving things up. And it's not about accepting things you're not used to accepting. Oh, maybe it is, because just let it happen. Don't fight it. This would have happened sooner, I'm sure of it, if I would have just let it go and accepted what was going on around me. I created all of that from my experiments and getting rid of electronics and cigarettes and alcohol, and I did all this stuff. It wasn't about that, and I didn't realize it. It was about what I believed. And none of those things matter. It's not about the physical things. Yeah, it would be easier, I think, if you, let's put it that way. It'll be easier if you eliminated them or cut them back. But it's not about stopping doing things. It's about a knowing. And I think it's real important to number 4 on the list of the orbs is correct thinking. And that's really important. Yes, physically, okay, you want to mind, body, spirit. So physically, yeah, I needed my body to catch up with what was going on in my mind and my spirit. So I needed to get off the meat and eat properly and take care of myself better. Because I kept trying to catch up with everything else. I was waiting around. Number 4 is correct thinking. Especially because if your thinking is going to take you into a emotional windstorm, you're going to create those things, and you want to make sure it's correct. You don't want to be. I was creating all this negativity just because I could not get out of my head, and it was happening. And then I turned around and said, "Wait a minute. This is not what I want. This is not what I desire. I don't need this. This is not. What is this for?" And I realized the negativity was my teacher, and I just went with it from there. Instead of fighting it, I accepted it. And I created it out. So that taught me that whole string, that whole month and a half of an episode, was a whole big long lesson. Didn't have to be that long, but I made it that long. And it was all connected. And you can create. And you are creating. It's not you can create, you are creating. We can't create what is going on around us. We're doing it. It's happening. And I'm being taught to stay positive and stay up. And I already know what's going to happen. And hey, maybe I'm creating it. Maybe it doesn't have to happen. Maybe I should be careful of my thoughts. Because come the next full moon, I figure, some kind of, I don't understand, false flag, whatever, school shooting, whatever, and then chemtrails, and then full moon, and that's when I'll get agitated, and I won't know. I won't know that, why am I upset? Why did this shit happen? Oh my God, why is this going on? And I won't be able to get out of my head again. That's the key right there. That's when I got to get out of that loop. Can I get that little dance move? Is that I dance move? Oh shit! Yeah, they bought my Mandela Effect book. I had a bunch of crap going on in my head, and that stuff was coming around. And I'm not serious about it, so I'm kind of letting it go, which, kind of makes it manifest. And, maybe not completely, but, I could feel it and see it around me when I was going through my little paranoid bull crap.